right, here he is, the Hurricane, Hyder Amil, back on the show, and you can see him fight next July the 20th at UFC Vegas 94 when he takes on Jeong Yeong Lee. Hyder, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, man. Nice to talk to you again. The hair's looking sharp. You got a nice fade, the chain going. It's almost fight night. How you feeling right now?
You know what they say, look good, fight good, perform good, or look good, perform good, fight good, So yeah, I'm ready. I can't wait.
Can't wait to see you back in there, man. A lot I want to cover with you here today, but first I just want to start with your boy, one of my favorite guys to watch. Nate Diaz picked up a big win this past weekend over Jorge Masvidal in boxing. What was your overall takeaway on his performance and just I guess the spectacle of it all in general?
I mean, Nate brings the show. He's definitely a superstar in the sport, brings a huge following. It's cool to see like the clash and all the craziness that happened before really built up the fight. And that's none of that's made up. It's all real. And yeah, so it's many, it's crazy, but that's what makes the sport so exciting. And Nate, I sparred Nate. I know what's gonna happen, like he's just gonna keep it on you the whole dang time, and it's just crazy to watch anyone just nonstop throw, nonstop move, and still have good defense in between those. So I'm happy for my man Nate.
If you had to bet like what is next for him, what do you think it would be? I mean, I know there's the Masvidal trilogy, whether it's MMA, boxing, or Connor. I mean, there's so many things out there for him. I know he wants to fight Leon Edwards, but like, what do you think we're gonna see next from Nate Diaz?
They might run Jake Paul versus him too. That's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking it's either that or he gets another crack at the UFC and make it another superstar fight. Maybe him versus McGregor. Honestly, I would love to see that one. I think everyone else would. So that's the next biggest fight in MMA, right there. And they might as well do that and get cashed out, before they before they close the book. So,
That's what I'd want to see. Connor, Nate 3. I mean, sign me up. That would sell as many pay-per-views as humanly possible right now.
right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to get your thoughts on it. I can't wait to see what is next for him. The last time that we did speak, Hyder, I hate to bring up bad memories, but it was right before the Niners lost in the Super Bowl. I'm still upset about it, and I'm a Patriots fan, man. Like I wanted the Niners to win. I can't believe that they lost that. But that was also right before the Freddie Garcia win too. So you had a little good and a little bad. Professional good, but obviously the Niners lost. Recap the Fernie win for me, man. I know you had a lot of adversity, three opponent changes until you actually landed with Fernie. How happy were you overall with your performance?
I messed up like a couple times in the fight, just being a little overzealous or whatever. And honestly, it's like I just felt him and how he moved, and I just could tell I could just do what I want, which made me a little careless in the first round with a couple things. So, which I wouldn't normally do. It's just like this guy did a fill in, and I could feel him. So, and then by the second round, I was like, all right, dialed in and clean it up. So the second round, I was way more dialed in, didn't get touched, and closed this show. I wish the referee let me just like finish him, so you can get or at least a chance to get the bonus. But hats off to Fernie. He did come in short notice, so I guess it's like let the guy fight another day, nice and healthy. But overall, I felt very comfortable there, fighting in the same place again. So let's make it do what it do.
Yeah, and when we spoke, you were supposed to fight, yeah, Nerdenbeek, and obviously that fell through. Then you had another opponent change. How difficult was it to kind of stay in it mentally, and then with like the game plan changes versus like who your opponent is and how it would affect the fight? Like how difficult was that overall?
Well, you know what? It really wasn't. You know why? Because MMA, I just know from being the sport, expect the unexpected. I expect that stuff from the amateurs and everything. Like, I only had two amateur fights, but I've trained for a bunch of them, and almost all of them fell off. So I was just like, or a new opponent switch, or I had opponent switch the week of and stuff like that. So, like my very first fight, I was gonna fight some like backyard brawler, like a kind of a setup fight, honestly. And then he got pulled out, and I ended up fighting a college wrestler my first fight. So that's a big, way bigger, gap in skill. And even then, I was like, okay, send it, let's go. Still knocked him out, because I'm ready. I'm always ready, and confidence comes from preparedness, from training, and I train my ass off. I put in the work. So a little stylistic, changes, seeing what their strengths and weaknesses are, and having certain training partners to emulate that. But one thing I always do, I always train with other bodies just to make sure that maybe my opponent pulls out. So I'm ready for a guy who's a lefty, a tall guy, a short guy, a jiu-jitsu guy. I train with every style. So I'm ready for whatever.
And that was your first official UFC win, man. How good did that feel?
Oh, it felt great. It would be better if it's an arena, but it felt amazing.
How'd you celebrate? You guys do anything special that night? Any food or drinks of choice?
Oh man. Oh yeah. Like my buddy owns a restaurant called Carver Steak in Vegas. So if you're in Vegas, go to Carver Steak. Amazing drinks, like the food, all that. And then we went out with Nate and everyone, and so we just had a blast. Saw the what's it called, like chain smokers or something like that. And it was really cool. We had a lot of fun. We just went everywhere and just had a complete blast. What was cool is because it was Super Bowl weekend, so many stars and Hollywood guy and people were around. So I got to hang out with all kinds of people and party with all kinds of people and run into people like MLB guys, actors, like all these people. So it was a blast, bro. It was a blast.
Can you name like one or two people that, celebrity that you thought was really cool that you got a chance to meet?
Oh God, I forgot what his name is, but like, oh, he's in Workaholics. I don't know what his name is, but he's really funny, And I was like, dude, what the heck? And like, so him, and then like Sneeko, and like this one, I forgot what his name is. He he was a pitcher for the MLB. I forgot. Oh God, I'm horrible with names, and if it's not MMA, I can't remember anyone's name. I'm gonna be honest, like actors or no one's name, and but mainly hanging out with Nate and Jake and Gil. They're like my big brothers, so
Yeah.
just hanging out with them is was a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine that. That's as about as much fun as you can have in itself, hanging out with the Scrappack crew. What is it like going out in the town with Diaz and Gil and all them guys? I can't imagine what it would be like. Is it just kind of like next level? You're walking through and no one's gonna look at you cross-eyed, right? Like that doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, it definitely doesn't happen. And two, Nate gets royalty treatment, and Jake and all of them. And so, and just being with the homies and stuff like that, we kind of rile each other up a lot. And it just gets, every time it gets next level crazy and fun. So and some of my friends were not in the MMA community to come out to support me. For them, it's like a dream. They can't even believe what the heck is going on, and that they're part of it. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Give me a little forecast for this upcoming NFL season. I know you're a Niners guy. How are the 49ers going to be this year?
I'm gonna be honest, I've been so busy, I can't even like pay attention to any, I don't even know what's going on, honestly, but I hope they're doing good. I know the Warriors aren't doing too hot, so I'm like, about that. But as long as the Niners are doing good, I'd be happy. But I don't know. Let me know what's the record right now.
Well, it hasn't started yet. Preseason is about to get underway, but the big thing was, were they gonna re-sign Brandon Ayuk or Debo Samuel? And so I think if they can keep at least one of them, I mean, they still got McCaffrey and Kittle. They'll be all right. They have a great defense. You
Right,
guys will be right there at the end. There's no doubt.
right. Well, I hope they keep Debo, but I mean, that's like a solid squad, bro. It'd be hard
Yeah.
to miss anyone, but they better keep McCaffrey, um, and Purdy.
Yeah,
Oh, the Purdy story just too cool, bro. It's just too cool.
it is. Yeah. No, he's not going anywhere. I think he inked a pretty decent deal. So yeah, your Niners will be right there, my man. Tell me, this camp, obviously it's winding down. The fight's right around the corner, July the 20th. How has it been? I know your opponent here, Jeong Yeong Lee, he's known for his jujitsu. Has this camp been more geared towards takedown defense and jujitsu? Like, what have you been doing mostly?
He's actually more of a striker, actually. I didn't see that much grappling from him. It looks like he has good grappling. I saw he has good grappling and stuff like that, but he has good hands also. He knocks people out. And yeah, I didn't see that much jiu-jitsu from him from his fights. So I mean, I've seen some good anti-grappling. I've seen him do some submissions and stuff like that, but I'm expecting a fast, well-rounded guy, and skillful dude, you know. I think he could be aggressive also. So I think he has some good pop, good explosion, and a well-rounded game. So sounds like a good matchup. Should be a fun one.
He's still pretty young in his UFC career, only 2 fights. He's 2-0. He did have that UD win over Blake Builder. I'm sure you've dissected plenty of tape. What did you think of that fight in particular and his performance?
I think he did really good against Blake Builder, but Blake Builder, I don't think he's that good, honestly. I think he's a great jiu-jitsu guy, and that's it. I think I'll finish Blake Builder, honestly, because I fought guys similar like that, and you're gonna just try to come at me like that, I'm gonna knock you out, Like it's just stylistically, I fight guys like that all the time in training. And like guys who he's a good jiu-jitsu guy, but he's not doesn't have the best striking, and he's not very fast or explosive. So anyone who's slow against me is dead for sure. Like I'm knocking them out, So uh I thought he did really well stuffing his takedowns, stopping the grappling, even getting on top of him. That was a solid win. I just think he, you know, not to say too much, but I feel like I can exploit a few things.
Wanted to ask you a little bit too about Gilbert Melendez. Obviously, he's been right next to you all through camp. I actually got to interview his wrestling coach really early in my career when I first started covering the sport. Scott Glab. Are you around Scott much? Like, does he help a lot with wrestling?
I have no idea who that is.
Really? Okay. Well, that's
Yeah, I think that was way earlier, and then he opened his gym, and then so his new wrestling coach, well, I wouldn't say new because he's been around for a while now, is Travis Lee, and so that's who my wrestling coach is. Him and Alex Coriano.
okay. Because Scott was Gilbert's high school coach, and I knew that they had a really close relationship. And I guess it obviously it goes back a while because Gilbert was in high school a long time ago. I'm not calling him old, but it was a while
Yeah,
ago. So
yeah.
this camp with Gilbert around, who have been like the main training partners that you've had to get you ready for John?
Just the guys in the Scrappack team. There's guys I box with, some boxers I box with, jiu-jitsu guys. I train with so many people. CSA here, Santos, guys from Dave Terrell's. So you just train with all kinds. I just train all kinds of people. I drop in a jiu-jitsu gyms. Just Black Sheep Jiu-Jitsu. Got a guy there helping me out. And then I also have my own gym in Marin County, San Rafael. And I have my coaches and trainers there, and people meet up with me to train me at my gym as well. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, and the weather looks absolutely beautiful in Cali right now. What is it today? What's the weather like?
I believe it's about 85 today, so it's not super hot, but yesterday was cold. San Francisco has its own microclimate. One day it's cold, one day it's hot. This is how it goes.
All right. Do you ever make it down to Malibu much? Do you ever? Because I used to work at a restaurant in Malibu, and I know you were talking before we went live here. You're a seafood guy. They got a lot of good seafood at Duke's.
I've heard of Duke's. I think that's a chain or something.
Yeah.
I would love to. Like, if that's a spot, I'm a big seafood guy. I'm from an island, so it just comes natural. So any good seafood. I am never eating seafood in Vegas again, though. And I'm never eating Vegas. I'm not eating seafood anywhere that's not by the coast. So that's my new rule. I'm never doing it. I got food poisoning before my contender fight. And so my contender fight, I fought that whole fight with food poisoning.
Wow.
And that's why I'm never eating sushi or raw seafood by not a coastal, state or country again. So
My wife says the exact same thing. So I'm with you. If you do go to Duke's, let me tell you, get the Parmesan crusted Opa. It is absolutely amazing. You'll love it.
okay. All right. Parmesan crusted Opa. Got it.
Yeah,
Nice.
right there. Put it in the mental Rolodex. Let me ask you a little
I
bit.
will. No, I will.
Let me ask you a little bit about the 145 division. Obviously, the champion is Topuria. He beat Volkanovski. I got to admit, I was a little surprised about that, especially the way that he did it. Like, what were your overall thoughts on that, and what kind of a reign do you think Ilya is going to have?
I called it actually because he got knocked out by Makachev and then got back into training camp around the same time I got because they're fighting a week after me. Around the same time I got into training camp, and I'm like, dude, you got knocked out and then got training camp like 2 months later. I don't think he gave himself enough time to recover his brain, or a month later after getting head kick KO'd, So I knew that with the training and sparring and everything he's doing, I don't think he did enough to recover his brain. I think he needed after head kick KO like maybe 2 months of not working, or 3 months of not working out or training or getting hit in the head. But then going to a hard training camp for a title right after that, I knew he's going to be a little flimsy, honestly. And I called it. I told everyone. And when I saw the fight, he looked a little jittery and kind of a little head high and circle. And then I saw how he's fighting. Like he's circling to the right. He's going to run into an overhand. He's going to run into. I kept calling it, and it happened. He kept circling right. I'm like, first off, Ilya it always has a loaded right hand. He's always on a loaded boxing stance. Don't circle to, especially him. He's so squat loaded to his power hand. You want to circle away from that hand. So honestly, I'm not surprised by that. I think they need to run it back when he's fully recovered. I think Ilya's going to be a great fighter. I think he's going to reign until I knock him off. So, and I feel like I have a great style against him. So maybe in a year. I hope in a year.
Okay, I love it. I also wanted to get your take on Dan Ige stepping up on short notice to replace Brian Ortega, fighting Diego Lopez. What did you think of just that move for Ige to step up and do that, and just that fight? Like, and Lopez's trajectory. He's a young guy, much like yourself. The UFC is really high on him. What do you think about him as a fighter?
Diego Lopez?
Yes.
Diego Lopez is on a hot streak right now. He's doing really good, and he knows how to perform. The one thing I see in Diego Lopez, what makes him very formidable, is he believes in himself 100%. A lot of fighters say that, but you can tell by how they move and they fight if how they really are, and he really believes in himself, and he's well rounded and a true warrior. So he's a good dude too. So what, hats off to him. I has my respect for sure.
It's pretty gangster of Ige to step up like that, right? Like, what were your thoughts when you
As
heard what happened?
gangsters, that was badass. I was like, man, Ige. I knew he was a straight dog though, and he did really well, honestly. That was a really close fight. I feel like if he didn't just get his back controlled that second round, he could have won. But other than that, like, 4 hours notice, man, good for him.
Yeah, well, one thing's for certain, the featherweight division is really great right now, especially with young guys like yourself and Diego that are on the come up. Like a lot of great fights to be made here moving forward. I do want to just circle back to this matchup here at UFC Vegas 94 with Lee again. I mean, you seem pretty confident. We were talking about it earlier. Do you have a prediction for me? Like, do you think that this fight is going to get later into the fight, or do you think maybe you're going to finish this guy early?
Mm, I think maybe second, maybe third round I finish him. It could be quick. I don't know. But if we go to decision, it's gonna be an exciting fight. I feel like this is a kind of like a fight that's gonna be very exciting. I got ready for with a few guys that are like way higher level in terms of what he does. So I want to make so it gave me confidence doing well with them. And I'm really looking forward to the matchup. I feel like stylistically works in my favor. Like he strikes, he has good grappling, but I feel like he is the favorite. I don't know why, because I feel like I fought the harder guys. I fought only hard fights. So, but he's gonna see. I'm gonna show the world. I'm using his motivation, man. I'm excited that they got me as the underdog, so I can really prove to the world who the hell I am, and make a really big statement when I do destroy this guy.
You destroy this guy, you get this win. You're not going to be fighting in the Apex the fourth time in a row, right? Like, are you going to be upset if they put you back in the Apex? I mean, I assume you want to be on like a pay-per-view card or at least in a big arena.
I'm using this fight as a ticket out of the Apex, and I'm making sure of that. And that's why me being the underdog, me being the Apex again, is motivating me. It's driving me right now to make a sensational performance and go guns blazing. Methodically smart, of course. But it's going to be an exciting fight, and I'm going to get I'm going to finish this guy. If I don't finish him, it's gonna be an exciting fight with me on the winning side. So
What can
we'll
your
see what's
fans
gonna,
expect to see
whatever
from
happens, happens.
what
Oh, go
what
ahead.
can your
Sorry about that.
fans expect to see from you after this fight? Like, what are your goals for the rest of this year? Would you like to fight once more or twice after this? What would be the perfect thing for you here to close out 2024?
It all depends on how this fight goes. If I get uninjured and if I walk out of this fight uninjured and there's a good matchup like very soon, I'll take that, because I want to be as active and climb up the ranks as fast as possible. So, ideally I want two more fights before the end of the year, but at least one more.
All right, Hyder. Well, can't wait to see you back in there, my man. Again, July the 20th, UFC Vegas 94. You can see the Hurricane, Hyder Amil back in action. Great talking to you again, man. It's been far too long. Hopefully we can do it again soon. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, the floor is yours.
Of course, I want to thank my team, the Scrappack, Gilbert Melendez, and everyone over there. Thank you, Coach Kieran, and everyone at CSA. Thank you, my team, Hack MMA. Also, follow me, Hurricane_415. I represent the Bay Area and the Philippines. Hit me up, all right?